All right, guys. Again, this is the recording sessions, and I can see the day is 28. So this is the 28 sessions that we are on. So our journey still continues. Okay, and it will be for another probably another 20 sessions more. Okay, and then we can say that we are done. But anyway, so today's topic, as usual, we can start with some of the production use cases so that you can really relate that particular topics can be used for which requirements, right? So that is most important thing, because so far we have been talking about lot of services, right? But it is a tendency that over the period of time you may forget all of the different services, because yeah, it is obvious reason, so many services, and all of a sudden which services can be used for what. So this is something really initially it's a problem, but it is all about practice. So today I can start with the very common production use cases, and which is something like that. So let's say your customer, they are running their workloads on AWS. So they have a couple of applications, databases, let's say very good and complex architecture they have, but they are also very much concerned about the security postures, right? Security posture, and they would like to really tight their security from all aspects. Okay, so in last couple of recordings, or last couple of sessions, that we started talking about some of the security stuff, but from today we'll talk more about the security and different components of that. So customer says they don't want to allow any kind of malicious traffic from in order to any applications level malicious attempt. So I'll repeat. So they want to block any kind of applications level malicious threats or activities to their AWS infrastructure, and they want to block some kind of cross-site SQL injections, cross-site scripting, all stuff, right? All of the application-related vulnerabilities. And they want you to protect those kind of applications level security or applications level firewall. So it's very important. That's why I'm just trying to emphasize this line, which is applications level security. Okay, because in security landscape there are so many different firewalls. Okay, and different firewalls plays a different role and different layer. I'm not sure if you know the OSI layer. If you know OSI layer, then it's okay. If you don't know, probably you can go to Google and spend some time half an hour to understand the what is OSI layer, how your data flows at each and every level. Okay, so these applications level or applications layer actually sits at layer 7 at the OSI level, OSI layer. So if your customer or you would like to protect any applications level malicious threats, okay, then you should go and configure or propose the firewall called WAF, WAF. Okay, and that is the today's first topic we are going to discuss in detail. So WAF is Web Applications Firewall, and the name self-explanatory, like web. Web means you are going to protect something related to web applications. So this particular firewall, you really cannot use for network level or transport level. There are some of the firewalls out there to protect them. We'll discuss also. But now, whenever you see the web level applications or web applications protections, then and the firewall, then you should go ahead with this WAF. So AWS does have their own WAF solutions. And also AWS supports some of the third-party marketplace web products as well. So we'll see what are the different marketplace web products you can go and you can subscribe for. But first we need to understand where you can position the WAF from the architecture level, okay, architecture perspective. So I'll just spend some of the time, a couple of minutes on the architecture, so that you will see in the real one of the productions architecture how exactly where you have to position your WAF. So you see here the load balancer, and this load balancer is an applications load balancer, and this WAF actually can be integrated with the load balancer, application load balancer. So in exam also, sometimes probably you will get confused, because in AWS certification they would like to assess your knowledge or concept, like which load balancer. Sometimes they mention network load balancer and something like that. But this WAF, AWS WAF, only works with applications load balancer. So you can integrate the WAF with the applications load balancer. And also we'll discuss something concept called shield. Okay, so let's start with the WAF. And now you see where you have to configure the WAF. And here you see that if any end users, any customers, right, would like to access your applications, so let's say these are all your applications, so their request is going through the load balancer here, and then your traffic, your customer traffic will inspect through or by the WAF. Okay, whatever the rules you'll define, I'll show you a kind of rules that you have to do or you may do. And then once these traffic inspections is done, then your traffic will get allowed to access your application. So that is the thing, that is the where you have to position your WAF. This is something I just wanted to discuss. So now, having said that, let me go back to our EC2 instance, AWS Management Console. Yes, starting with the EC2 instance. So couple of EC2 instances I have created, and there's a sample applications I have installed before this class starts. And then I've also configured a full-fledged CDN, which is CloudFront. So last day we discussed about the CloudFront, the purpose of the CloudFront, like this caching, and then how you can integrate the WAF with CloudFront as well. So that means the WAF that we have just seen is not only at the applications load balancer integrations, you actually can integrate the WAF with the CloudFront, which is the CDN as well, and also some of the other AWS services like API Gateway and all stuff we'll see. So in our case, I have created a little not complex, little matured way. This is how in real productions environment works. So in the CDN, I have integrated the WAF with the CDN, and then inside the WAF, I will create some of the rules so that all of the traffic will go and hit to the CloudFront, and then it will get inspected by the WAF, and then your data will get passed through. So that is something we will see. So this is the applications running, and the applications, if I just type support.egan.co.in is a sample application, and this is, you see, there's a 403 error. That means my request is blocked by something. And if you see request blocked, we cannot connect your app website, maybe some issue, and probably it is going through your cloud front, as I said. So this support.again.co.in going through the cloud front, and some kind of things is really happening there. And we'll see what exactly it is. So you see there's a generated by CloudFront and request blocked. Okay, this is the indications. So now if I go back and quickly see the CloudFront, though today is not a CloudFront sessions, but to give you some of the understanding how exactly it is configured for this lab. So if I go to CloudFront CDN, oh, here you go, it's there on the CloudFront. And then I have created the distributions. Last time also you have seen, I said that one of the distributions for the productions I've already created, and you can see this is the domain names. So if I just click on these distributions, and in the security sections, you will be able to see the WAF actually is integrated with this CloudFront distribution. That means maybe for that reasons, all of the request is dropped or blocked. Okay. And if I just go and check, there we go. If I just scroll down and you see, this is the kind of reports, right? How many requests are, blocked and from which country. So this is the nice overview of your CloudFront dashboard as well. So we are getting the opportunity to see the CloudFront dashboard as well, right? How exactly it looks like, and from how many traffic, from bot, how many request category, etc., etc. So CloudFront also gives you some this kind of nice dashboard for your review. So now, if we'll go to finally WAF configuration, so you'll just go and type WAF and shield, basically that is the service name. And if you click that, you see from here you can create the web access control list or WAF. All right. So first I'll show you what exactly I have, my existing WAF, and then we'll see how to create the WAF, a brand new one. Okay. So if you go to web access control list, and from here, if you just go and check the CloudFront, because this WAF is actually integrated with the CloudFront. That's why I have to choose the CloudFront, because CloudFront, again, it is not a region-centric service, right? It is the global. So anyways, this WAF is integrated with CloudFront, actually my WAF. So you have to go to the CloudFront and you will be able to see the WAF that I have. Okay. So here, this is the WAF that we have. If we just click on the test, I have given a name like test. And here, some of the rules I have identified, and you can see from this console also, you will have a WAF dashboard. So last time we see these a CloudFront dashboard. Now we are seeing the WAF does have their own dashboard as well. And the dashboard is something talking about, like, 5 block, total 5 requests, and all of the nice, beautiful graphics, right? From which device, right? From desktop, all of the 5 requests are coming through. From which country, maybe Ireland, all stuff, right? So now, if I go and check the rules that I have, and this is something, the rules I have created called country. So if I go and click the country, so this rule, it is something related to a block your request from a specific country. Okay. So this is another use case. So if your customer, they are very much concerned about their request should only from certain countries, like nobody will be allowed from different countries, then WAF could be a good friend of yours, or what WAF could be a right solutions over there. There are other solutions as well, like Route 53. Then when we'll discuss Route 53, then we'll also see. But WAF is mostly used to address this kind of requirement where you have to really block all of your requests, the country wise. Okay. I'm not sure how many of you know the GDPR. The GDPR is a policy like in the UK that their request only stays inside the Europe. Okay, nobody can access their PII data, personal information data from other country, etc. So if you have this kind of requirement from your customer, then again I say that this kind WAF would be a good solution. So if I just go and edit and just wanted to show you how exactly the rule you create. So this is the name I have given called country, and there's a different type of rule like regular rule or rate based rule. And there's a if else a statement, right? If you are in basic programming, we have seen like an if else. This is not a programming class, but it's the same thing. Like if my request doesn't match, okay, not. And if my request is coming not from the variant, okay, then all of the requests will get blocked. Okay, that is the statement. So if any request is coming from anywhere except Bahrain, then all of the requests will get blocked. If somebody will access from Bahrain, then their request will get through. That is the rule is all about, and you can see the JSONs also. So this is something, right? If um, uh, this kind of rule matches the country and VH bar in the short code, then you will be able to see. So that is the a kind of rule I've created. So if I just delete the rule, let's say if I go to test and rules, or maybe I can just delete the rules, or maybe edit the rules, whatever you can do that. Maybe you can just pass or allow all the traffic. I don't know. Let me check. If I just save the rules, and if I just go and type, okay, it will take some time, or maybe I'll delete, or maybe let me delete this rule. Okay. I'm not sure. I mean, let me delete. Yep, here you go. So you can see that now there's no rules, no F, and so that anybody can access your applications, because when it is going through the CloudFront doesn't have any rule attached, because this rule doesn't exist. And so all of the request now is going through. Okay, so that's a very short demo in terms of configurations I wanted to show you. Now let's discuss couple of important configurations of WAF. And if you are really interested about all of these security things, then I would strongly suggest that you should go and subscribe for the AWS security specialty. Okay. I also teach the security specialty. I'm planning to create a batch. One of the batch almost completed, but if you think that it would be helpful, then let me know. And also, I'm just trying to launch another brand new course, which is AWS Database Specialty. So if you are interested, then also let me know. I can put you in the batch. The new batch will get started. So let's go and create a new WAF. So AWS WAF, and this is the first thing you have to do, like create WAF. And here you go. The moment you go, it is saying, would you like to integrate your web with CloudFront? So this exactly we have done for our use cases, right? So that is something you can do. Or you can go and select some of the regional centric services. Okay. The regional centric services, if you select, then the WAF can be integrated with applications load balancer. Very important. There's a no network load balancer, guys. Okay. Always remember. Then you can integrate with Amazon API Gateway. Okay. For the REST APIs. There's a service called App Runner. You can integrate WAF with App Runner. then AppSync, Cognito, users pool. So these are all of the resources where you can integrate your WAF. And also should be the region centric service. So let's say I want to map with my region called Mumbai and just give it a name like my new WAF, or maybe my productions broad WAF, and then descriptions or etc. And then from here you have to really associate your resources here. That means if you would like to attach your WAF with the services, something like add AWS resources, and you can see that I have got all of the API, whatever the API available. If I go to application load balancer, that is the only load balancer I have. Let me go to this and then go and select next. And now from these sections, this is the most important. Without that, there's a no point of having WAF, right? This is the things. This is the rules sections, okay? So if you go and select rules, there are two kinds of rules. One is manage rule groups, one is own rules groups, okay? The manage rule groups means AWS will give you a choice um, to create and select your rules, okay? That means you see there's AWS manage rules groups. That means you can go and subscribe for any rules. It's all paid, right? 50 capacity and all stuff. If you like to protect the bot, then you have to just enable this, and then you have to go, you have to use these rules. And if you like to protect some of the Linux operating system level malicious threats to prevent any kind of attacks for Linux, if you would like to protect your PHP application, SQL database, Windows operating system, WordPress. So it is business to business, thing, right? And which are the most important. So, but in productions environment, usually we recommend to enable the SQL databases. Now, PHP application, if you have, if you use WordPress application. So these are very common rules that we usually suggest. Bot is now also very important these days, right? To protect any kind of bot level attack. And this and admin protection. So this is the AWS manage rule. Now here in this section you can see there are other third-party rules that you can subscribe also, like F5. F5 is a very popular company, right? They provide a different security solutions, okay? Like they have their load balancer, they have their different firewall. So F5 also has this kind of rules, so that you can go and choose subscribe the F5. Then Fortinet, if Fortinet, they have also the different rules. Imperva, I can see a lot of customers, they are using Imperva rules as well. And yes, you have to subscribe for, and you have to pay for that. And many customer I can see they are using these Fortinet rules groups typically for the OWSP top 10 protections, etc. So these are all recommendations from my side, that you can create your own rules. You can go by AWS manage rules, or you can go for the third party product, and it depends about your business to business use cases and also the cost and budget that you have. So now let me go back and quickly create our own rules. You can also do that. So let's say if I go and I think the rules one next. Okay, it is okay. Let me quickly create one. Yes, so now the another option is add my own rules. So From here, you can create your own rules. Like let's say you can create something that I have created, the country-wise blocking, right? So all you need to do, like, you just set country and then regular expressions or regular rule that if your matches and from, let's say, if you like to protect if any requests are coming from the country, or maybe you have certain IP addresses. These are all different components, right? If you like to block any header order, etc., etc. If you go for the rate based rules, so rate based rules I can see now becoming very popular in government customers, in a lot of BFSI customers. They also are very much concerned about these kind of rules, which is rate based. So rate based means you can limit the request rates for requests that match your criteria. So you can actually limit that. Okay, you know what? I know my traffic is somewhere around 1 lakh or maybe 50,000 or 1,000, not more than that. If any requests are coming more than that particular level, then I would consider this is not a trustworthy request, maybe some of the suspicious things going on. So rate based rule is nothing but you can actually rate the limit, and then you can further uh, you know configure the evaluation window, the amount of time you use, request count, source IP address, etc. So you can really explore all of this. It is not possible because if I start web, then probably it will take 2 3 classes only on the web. It's so big. One thing I have seen, um, in all of the security experts, usually they do. So if you would like to implement any WAF in your productions, first you need to really go and check in the test environment or UAT environment. And also, um, don't go and simply start blocking your requests. Okay, so many security engineer, they actually want to see what's going on. Okay, they actually see the count, so they actually enable the count, not block in the first place. Okay, then when they will get confidence, then see everything is working okay, then finally they go and do this block. Okay, this is very very important. So this is something I wanted to tell you. Just hold on for a second. I'm just go and stop these instances. I really don't need that right now because I've already shown it. So yes, so this is something, the first count, and then probably you can block. That is always good practice, because from my experience, I've seen that the junior one, they have implemented, the junior DevOps engineer or security engineer, they simply go and selected block, and you don't believe that entire applications went down. Okay, and this is the catastrophic situations. So don't do that. If you are not 100% confident, just enable count and see, and then do a testing, and then finally block. Okay, I'm not going to do anything right now, but this is something just I wanted to show you. You can also do a kind of JSON editor if you are very good in JSON, that you can write your code. IP set. So this is also a kind of IP setting you can do, like which are the IP addresses you can pass through. So when a request comes through a CDN or any other proxy network, the source IP address identifies the proxy, and the original IP address is sent in the header. So basically, if you really like to create your own IP set, then you can actually create your own IP set and allow them only those IP sets. Rule group, so you can create multiple rule group to manage your different rules. So let's say if I create the rule groups, and then I can actually create multiple rules inside this rule group, so that it will be very easy to manage my rules. Maybe this is for my PHP applications, this is for my WordPress applications, something like that. So this is how you can actually manage your rule group. So here you can see, use a rule group to combine rule into one single logical set as well. I mean, this is the kind of multiple rules you can also create. So if I go and show you So as I said, that default web ACL actions is allow. If you are 100% sure, you can actually block. So everything, let them go first. And this WAF does have their own kind of capacity unit consumption. So this is related to price. Okay. So if you calculate the WAF, if you go and just, let's say, AWS pricing calculator, I'll show you how exactly it works. And if you go and select the service, there's a WAF, create estimate. And let's say the first, how many WAF requests, there's a one WAF. How many rules we already discussed, how many rules, how many rule groups, how many rules. So that's how, or maybe how many request access. So that's how, maybe $125 per month you have to spend for based on these much of rules. And if you just go and see the calculations, here you can see that I have got one web which is $5 per month, and then on top of that there are 10 rule groups, 10 rules groups, then there's certain amount. Then so this is the breakup about their cost. And as I said, so this is something, it will also show you how many WCU consumptions, okay, the WAF unit that you will consume for your rules. If you go and create next, so this is something your rule set priority. So you can actually create a different rules priority, like this rule will get the precedence for others. Let me create any kind of rules. Let's say test one, something, maybe anything. And maybe I can create, you can see there's a one capacity got consumed. You can see one. And then if I just create another rules, maybe test two, red paste, something, probably this one, and this capacity two, and this now 2 plus 1 3. And if I just go, and now you can see that my first rule is test one and this test two. But if you want to move off that, so that my test two will get the precedence over test one, so that means this particular rule will act first, and then it will go to the next rule. Okay, it's kind of in order. So that also you can do in these priority sections. And now here there's another option called enable sample requests. So it will give you a kind of sampled request that is not a real, but it will, web will tell you that, okay, these are the sample requests for you, and you really see the pattern of your request and the behavior of this request, those sort of options you can do, kind of sampling. And that is the summary. And then finally, if you go and create the web access control list, okay, existing one. They are could not perform the operation because some resource in the request duplicate existing one. Okay. Let's delete one and see. Or do I have any rules? Let me. Okay, I think this is the rules already created. Okay. All right. So that's why it's already this name. So, okay. So if you have created the rules, so these are the rules you can see it's already saved actually. The test one and test two, then associated AWS resources, that which resources are added to, right? Then there's a different logging metrics, different custom bodies, right? You can create a custom body and then sample requests. Okay. Here, this in C, you'll see the sample request. Now it has not been started. And then also it can be included the CloudWatch lock insights. Okay, so you can see. So from these sections, you see there's a rule group. So you can create your own rule group, let's say test rule group. Okay, and now simply go, and now you can add the rules inside that the same way so that you can manage better. Let's say new rule, let's say all headers, something like that, block, match type size equals 4, anything. I mean, I'm just doing random order, or maybe it's not. Exclude, maybe it will be difficult. So let me do a easiest way. Easier one basically. And now you can see. So basically I've created the rule groups. Now you can create another rule groups, or maybe you can inside this rule group, you can create another rules. Okay. So it's kind of clubbing all of the rules into one rule groups. AWS Marketplace managed rules. This is again already discussed. Like, you can also go and, let's say you would like to protect some of the APIs level. You just go and enable any of the, rules from the marketplace. And yes, you have to purchase this. I'm not going to do that. And if you go to pricing options, you will be able to see the pricing as well of that particular rules. And this is somewhere around $25. And then there's a per million requests $1. So that's how you can also enable that. I think from the solutions architecture perspective, this all you need to know. There's some of the different regex pattern. If you are interested of some of the regular expressions, like, some of the expressions you can also put as per your developers if they have something in their mind to protect the infrastructure, that you can do. Then IP sets, let's say you can create your own IP sets. Let's say my own IP. So that means you are going to allow only the IP in your environment. Let's say something like that. Only this IP or multiple IPs, something like that. And then if you create an IP, so these IP sets, and then if you go and create access control list, maybe this one, existing one. And now if you go to rules and add, and now you can relate that, okay, I have created some of the rules groups. Now it is coming up here. Okay, so that rule group will get activated. If you go to IP sets, now you have got the IP sets. Okay, and the same way you can manage from here. You can also integrate the JavaScript SDKs and all stuff. And now you have also bot control dashboard. So bot control is not properly configured. But you can go and enable some of the bot control rules, which we don't have now. But yes, if you have the managed rule groups, for that you need to pay for that. Probably you can go for these rules, and then go and save, so that you'll get charged. But yes, that's how we can also integrate the bot control. This is the older version of the WAF. If I go to older versions, WAF Classic, they called it, and it will show you a very old kind of user interface. I used to access this maybe 2-3 years back, and you can see almost same. But now, if you go for the SQL injections, you can create some of the SQL injections protections, more specifically from here. Okay, all of your different, let's say you would like to pass a single query parameter. So all of these granular thing you can do from here. Okay, so if your business need, if they would like to protect any specific query string or connect, URL string or URL, then you actually can use this WAF to protect that particular request. All right. So now, if you refer to this architecture, there's another component called Shield. Okay. So Shield, this is the another service, but it can be tightly integrated with WAF. And this Shield is some kind of, this is a service to protect the DDoS. Okay. So DDoS is a kind of threats, okay, distributed of denial of service, right? Distributed denial of service. That means from different locations, there are 100,000 millions or trillions of requests are coming, purposely to your infrastructure. Somebody they send bad person, malware, evil person or hackers to bring down your infrastructure. That is the ultimate goal, right? And it is very difficult to protect thousands of IPs because they are the source of this attack from the different IPs, different machines. Um, Initially, if it is coming from one or two locations, then you can control by using the NACL. You remember NACL, Network Access Control List? So using NACL, you can protect if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, but it is the 100,000 more than that, then it is very difficult because NACL doesn't have that much of lines you cannot create in NACLs, right? The maximum rule line you can create, it is not more than what I mean. We have to check, but this is very limited, right? We discussed already. I cannot remember. That's okay. But now, if that is the denial of service attack, then you have to enable the shield. One thing is, the basic DOS, the basic denial of service protection is already enabled if you enable WAF. Okay. But it's a very complex denial of service, and your customer, they really don't want the basic, they need the advanced level of denial of service, then you have to enable the shield. And shield is a very expensive service. It's a $3,000 per month you have to pay for that. Okay. And but this is the shield sometimes useful for enterprise customer, some of the bank or government customers, if they don't want to they don't want to compromise with their any kind of security threat. So you have to enable the shield. Don't do that at your home or your lab. It is very expensive, but this is the area you have to go and enable the shield. I'm not going to do that, but you have to subscribe the shield. And you can see this is $3,000 per month. And it is a nice thing that it is currently showing you the last 2 weeks summary of the attacks, denial of service attacks, mostly in those regions. You can see this all of the rates. That means from these locations or in these locations are getting impacted by the different denial of service attack. The total number of attacks 61,000 across the globe, mostly the SYN flood. SYN flood is a there's a TCP. If you know the networking, there's a SYN flood there, so it will completely flood your TCP connections. Okay, if you go and check the SYN flood, the very common threats. The SYN flood is half open attack, is type of denial of service attack, which aims to make server unavailable or legitimate traffic by consumer. So this is something very, very bad or very common, kind of attacks. But, so this is the thing, like, Shield, AWS Shield, it encourages us to go and enable irrespective of the price. Price comes little late because sometimes the important thing is you really need to, make your infrastructure healthy, right? But that is the use case, and you can actually subscribe for. I don't have. You can go and you can see global threat dashboard. You can see in this is a free one. You can go and check, how many global threat it is happening. Most common vector is seen, and then something like that. So this is the WAF and Shield. So if I just go back to EC2 instances, and if I just go and scroll down, load balancer. So when we discuss the load balancer long back, in these sections called integrations, you see that from these options also you can enable the WAF. So you can see that my load balance is now actually enabled by the WAF. Okay, so I have enabled there, but it is actually already integrated here in the load balancer. So if I go and launch the security dashboard right there from here, and then it will take me to the cloud front, and then from here you will see, this firewall. Okay, so this is how you can integrate. And so we'll come back with other services. So let me pause this recording for maybe a few more minutes, and then we'll come back and see some of the different use cases, and then we'll see what are the services that you should know to address those particular productions use case. All right, thank you.